Are you a drinker? If so, are you happy with the amounts that you drink? Do you think we, as a country, drink a little bit too much? I'm asking because the number of people in Scotland whose death was caused by alcohol has risen to the highest level in 14 years. It has got me thinking about this, Gerald, because when you look right across the UK, actually, a lot of these figures are increasing when it comes to the amount we're drinking and the challenges that it's bringing us, etc. Where do you stand on it?
Well, I was listening to this interview with the oldest man in Britain whose birthday was 111.
Right.
And they asked him the secret of his longevity, and he said moderation. And I think there is a lot of truth in that. Unfortunately, I cannot really exercise his advice because when I open a bottle of wine, I tend to finish it. I'm enjoying it so much. But you do enjoy it, and it's fabulous while you're drinking it.
But then do you drink daily? So, like, every night would you get home and open your wine?
Well, I try and don't do that because of the fact that I would drink a whole bottle every night. And I would find that if I did that, I wouldn't... I mean, I do mentoring and stuff like that, and you have to have your wits about you. I do motivational speaking, and that would be affected. There's no question whatsoever. If I drink a bottle of wine a night, you lose your sharpness. So when I'm working, which is sort of perhaps most of the time I wouldn't drink, but at weekends, when I really want to relax, it is very nice to open a bottle of wine, red wine, sit at the end of the garden.
You can see the joy in his face. He's like sitting there and he's getting into it in his own mind.
I feel like I'm there.
Yeah, I do as well. I can almost hear that cork popping.
Yeah, sounds super.
Where do you stand on it, Alex?
My first thing is this. Of course, no man is an island, and anybody's death is sad, because we are all part of the main. But these are tiny statistics. This is an increase of under 36 people sadly have died. It's a 2% rise on the year prior. So really, these numbers are not huge. And moreover, let me tell you, you can always find the answer that you want to get from statistics. There is a reason that people focus on something like, this is the highest raise since 2008. You know why? Because in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, people drank like fish, right? The greatest generation, the generation that won the war, basically didn't stop drinking and smoking unless they were pulling a trigger, right? So it is absurd sometimes how agonised we get about these things. We drink far less than our grandparents ever did. And in the end, drinking is enjoyable, and drinking is something that helps you to relax. So it is very sad that these people have died. And of course, if someone in extremis has developed alcoholism and they need help, then we should try as a society to get them that help. But let's not get things out of proportion. But
alcohol has become... So I remember my granddad, he used to make his own wine.
Yeah.
I was obviously too young to drink it.
My dad did that.
Yeah, but I remember like a whole kind of spare bedroom was just dedicated to these humongous glass things that he was brewing God only knows what in there.
Sure.
But now when I think about alcohol, because I drink, obviously, I think most people do, but it is a habit. So when I finish work, and I get home, and then I think, right, now it's time to wind down. So I do then get a glass of wine with my dinner or whatever. But whenever I think I see advertisements, drinking is glamorised. So you will pick up any magazine or whatever, and there's this woman, and she's really beautiful, and she's got her glass of whatever. And I don't know if it is getting to the point where if you've got a problem with alcohol, because I think excessive alcohol is at the root of so many societal issues. I think domestic abuse and things like that. When you actually trace it down, it's somebody that's got a drink problem that's often the kernel, the catalyst for what goes on in that home. I think of a lot of football violence, and there'll be loads of people now having a go at me for being stereotyping. But when I think of a lot of football violence, I think a load of people, they drink too much, they can't handle their beer. And then you see all these grown, sweaty men kicking off when there's all the kids in the stadium. And I think if you ban booze, I bet you'd get rid of a lot of that violence as well.
There's no question about that. I mean, all the NHS always say that they get, in A&E, they get all people coming in after having fights at the weekend from drinking.
Well, I'd bill them. I'd charge them. If you go out and you get drunk and you kick off and now I need an ambulance and 999 and you're going into A&E and you're taking up a bed, when you sober up the next morning, guess what would be waking you up next to your toast? You'd get a bill.
Well, that may be a view that attracts sympathy amongst viewers, but we believe in carefree at the point of view. So let me just make one point from what you were saying. You were talking about football violence. 8 people got stabbed at Notting Hill Carnival, which are all supposed to say it's a wonderful celebration of culture. That doesn't happen in a season of football in the United Kingdom, but we pretend it doesn't happen.
That is a very fair point. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you drink too much? Do you think we've got a problem? And if so, how do we deal with it?